Everyone in the tall glass building knew Mira. She was the CEO. Calm voice, sharp eyes, always walking fast with a tablet in her hand. People said she was cold, but those who worked closely with her knew she was fair. She trusted results, not noise. The company had grown under her leadership, and many called her the youngest leader in the city to reach that level. Few people noticed Rafi. Rafi was the janitor who cleaned the floors before sunrise and after midnight. He wore simple clothes, kept his head down, and spoke only when needed. His hair was always neatly trimmed. His posture was straight, almost too straight for someone pushing a cleaning cart. People assumed he was quiet by nature. Some thought he was shy. Others thought he was just tired of life. Rafi worked every night on the executive floors. He cleaned conference rooms where big deals were discussed. He wiped whiteboards filled with plans and numbers. He listened without trying to listen. He never asked questions. He never lingered. Mira first noticed him on a late evening. She was still in her office past midnight, reviewing a report that had gone wrong. The company had lost a major client that day, and she wanted answers before morning. When she stepped out to get coffee, she saw Rafi polishing the floor near the elevators. The building was silent. She watched him for a moment. His movements were controlled and efficient. No wasted steps. No rush. He noticed her reflection in the glass before she spoke and turned calmly. "Good evening, ma'am," he said. His voice was steady. "You work late," Mira replied. "So do you," he said, not smiling but not rude. That caught her attention. Most employees became nervous when talking to her. Rafi did not. She nodded and walked to the coffee machine. The machine jammed. She pressed the button again. Nothing happened. "Here," Rafi said. He stepped forward, opened a panel, adjusted something inside, and stepped back. The machine hummed and started working. "Thank you," Mira said. "You are welcome," he replied and returned to his work. That should have been the end of it. But it was not. Over the next few weeks, Mira kept seeing Rafi. Always on time. Always calm. When others rushed or complained, he moved steadily. When a small fire alarm went off on one floor due to a faulty sensor, people panicked. Rafi guided them out quietly and helped an elderly accountant down the stairs without drawing attention. Mira watched from a distance. One evening, she found him sitting alone in the cafeteria after his shift, drinking water. "You never eat here," she said. He looked up. "I bring food from home." "You could join the others," she said. He shook his head gently. "I prefer quiet." She sat across from him before she realized what she was doing. "I am Mira," she said, even though he obviously knew. "I know," he replied. "I am Rafi." They sat in silence for a moment. "Where are you from?" she asked. "A small town," he said. "What did you do before this?" she asked. He paused for a second, then said, "Different work." She sensed he did not want to explain and did not push further. Mira surprised herself by enjoying the silence. With him, she did not feel the need to perform or lead. She could just sit. Their conversations became short but regular. A greeting in the hallway. A few words by the elevator. Sometimes a shared coffee. People began to notice. Some whispered. Some laughed quietly. "The CEO talking to the janitor," one manager joked. Mira ignored them. She had grown tired of people who wanted something from her. Rafi wanted nothing. One rainy evening, Mira slipped near the entrance. The floor was wet from shoes and umbrellas. Before she could fall, Rafi was there, steadying her arm. "Careful," he said. His grip was firm but gentle. She looked at him, surprised by how fast he had moved. "Thank you," she said softly. He let go immediately and stepped back. From that day, something changed. Mira started asking him about small things. Books. Music. Life. Rafi answered simply. He liked history books. He enjoyed early morning walks. He spoke of discipline as if it were a daily habit, not a rule. You sound like someone who lived a very structured life, Mira said once. Rafi gave a small smile. Old habits stay. One weekend, Mira invited him for coffee outside the building. You do not have to say yes, she added quickly. Rafi considered for a moment. Coffee is fine. They met at a quiet cafe. No suits. No uniforms. Just two people. Mira wore simple clothes. Rafi looked different outside work. Still simple, but there was something about him. His awareness. The way he scanned the room before sitting. The way he chose a seat with a clear view. You always sit like that, she said. Like what? He asked. Facing the door. He shrugged. Comfort. They talked for hours. About mistakes. About loneliness. About pressure. Mira admitted she felt alone at the top. People listen, she said. But they do not hear. Rafi nodded. Leadership can be heavy. She looked at him carefully. You speak like someone who led people. He met her eyes calmly. Everyone leads at some point. Weeks turned into months. Their bond deepened quietly. No drama. No rush. One evening, after a long board meeting, Mira felt overwhelmed. A major expansion plan was facing resistance. She sat in her office, staring at the city lights. There was a soft knock. Rafi stood at the door. You forgot your phone in the conference room. She smiled tiredly. Thank you. He noticed her expression. Hard day. Yes, she said. Sometimes I wonder if it is worth it. Rafi stepped closer but kept distance. You build something that lasts. That always has value. How do you know? She asked. Because you care, he said simply. That night, Mira realized something important. She trusted him. More than she trusted anyone in the building. When she told the board she was dating someone, they assumed it was a business leader or investor. When she revealed it was Rafi, silence filled the room. A janitor, one member said carefully. Yes, Mira replied calmly. Rumors spread fast. Some employees were shocked. Some amused. Some angry. Rafi did not change. He kept working. Kept cleaning. Kept his routine. One evening, Mira asked him, Does this bother you? The talk, he asked. Yes. No, he said. People speak. Life continues. When Mira proposed marriage, she expected hesitation. Rafi looked at her for a long moment, then said, If you are sure. I am, she said. They married quietly. No press. No big event. Just a simple ceremony. People judged. People whispered. They did not know Rafi's past. They did not know about the years of intense training. The silent missions. The commands given in whispers. The lives protected without recognition. The leadership under pressure that shaped his calm. Rafi had once been an elite commander. A man trusted with the hardest tasks. A man who chose to walk away after seeing enough loss and noise. He chose silence. He chose simplicity. Mira did not know. Not yet. To her, he was just Rafi. Steady, kind, strong. And for the first time in her life, she felt safe not being in control. Marriage did not change Myra's position at the company, but it changed how people looked at her. Some employees avoided her. Some watched closely, waiting for mistakes. Others whispered when Rafi walked through the halls with his cleaning cart. Rafi noticed everything and reacted to nothing. He woke before dawn, cooked simple meals, and walked with Mira when she had time. He still worked nights. Mira offered many times to help him find another role in the company. I am fine where I am, Rafi said calmly. But people judge you, Mira said. They judge without knowing, he replied. That is not new. Mira admired that strength. She had faced pressure all her life, but Rafi carried something deeper. A calm that did not come from comfort, but from experience. One evening, Mira hosted a small dinner for senior managers. It was meant to ease tension and show unity. Rafi helped quietly in the kitchen, serving tea and arranging plates. A manager named Leon watched him closely. "You move like security," Leon said with a laugh. "Not like staff." Rafi smiled politely. "Old habits." Leon raised an eyebrow but said nothing more. Later that night Mira asked, "That comment did not bother you?" Rafi shook his head. "People see what they want." The company entered a difficult phase. A rival firm began pushing aggressively into their market. Rumors of data theft spread. A few important files went missing from internal servers. Panic grew. One night, the building lost power on several floors. Emergency lights came on. Employees gathered nervously near exits. Mira was still in her office. Rafi felt something was wrong the moment the lights went out. The silence felt unnatural. He moved quickly but quietly toward the executive floor. In the hallway, he noticed a door that should have been locked standing slightly open. He paused, listening. His body shifted automatically into alert mode. Inside the server room, a man stood near a panel, trying to remove a device. Rafi spoke calmly. "You should not be here." The man turned, startled, and ran. Rafi did not chase loudly. He moved with precision, blocking the exit. In seconds, the man was restrained and unable to move. Security arrived moments later, shocked. "How did you do that?" one guard asked. Rafi simply said, "Luck." The incident was reported quietly to avoid panic. Mira was informed the next morning. "They said you handled it," she said at breakfast. Rafi nodded. "Anyone would have." She looked at him carefully. "Not anyone." Mira started noticing more details. How Rafi checked doors automatically. How he noticed small changes in environment. How he stayed calm during tense meetings when others reacted emotionally. One afternoon, she invited him to sit in during a strategy session. Some board members objected. "He has no business background," one said. "He has judgment," Mira replied. Rafi listened without speaking. When asked for input, he gave short, clear thoughts. Focus on weak points. Secure what matters most. Noise distracts from real threats. The room went silent. "That is exactly our problem," Mira said. Rafi became a quiet advisor. Not official. Not announced. But trusted. Still, he cleaned floors at night. At home, Mira asked more questions. "You think like someone trained," she said. Rafi paused. "I learned from life." "From what kind of life?" she asked gently. "A demanding one," he replied. Mira sensed a door she should not force open. One weekend, they went to a quiet lake outside the city. Mira wanted peace. Rafi checked the area before settling down. "You relax only after checking everything," Mira said. He smiled slightly. "Then I relax." At the lake, a group nearby started arguing loudly. One man pushed another. Things escalated. Before Mira could react, Rafi stood up, walked over, and spoke firmly. His voice carried authority. The argument stopped instantly. The men backed away, confused but calm. Rafi returned and sat down as if nothing happened. Mira stared at him. "Who are you?" she asked softly. "Someone who wants a quiet life now," he said. That answer stayed with her. Back at the company, pressure increased. The rival firm launched a legal attack, accusing Mira's company of violations. Media attention grew. Mira remained strong publicly, but privately she struggled. One night, she broke down in her office. Rafi held her without words. "You do not have to carry everything alone," he said. "I am afraid of failing," she admitted. "You already survived worse," he replied. "How do you know?" she asked. "Because I see how you stand when pressure comes," he said. Security issues continued. Someone attempted to access restricted areas again. This time, cameras showed precise movement patterns. "This is not amateur," the head of security said. Rafi watched the footage quietly. "This person is trained," Rafi said. "They will return." "How can you be sure?" Mira asked. "Patterns repeat," he said. That night, Rafi stayed longer than usual. When the intruder returned, Rafi was ready. He stopped the person without harm and handed them to authorities. This time, the board demanded answers. "Who is he?" one member asked. "A janitor does not do this." Mira looked at Rafi. He met her eyes calmly. "I will explain," he said. "But not yet." At home, Mira finally asked directly. "You are not just a janitor. I need to know who I married." Rafi took a deep breath. "I served before. In a unit that required silence. I led people. I left when it was time. That is all," he added. Mira listened quietly. "Why did you not tell me?" she asked. "You did not ask," he said gently. "And I wanted to be chosen for who I am now." She nodded slowly. "I trust you," she said. The board was informed in a controlled meeting. Rafi's past was revealed without details. Silence followed. Then one member said, "We underestimated you." Rafi replied, "Many do." The rival firm backed off after their plans were exposed. The company stabilized. But Mira knew something bigger was coming. Rafi's past was no longer hidden. And the world that once laughed at the CEO and the janitor was about to see a different side of him. After the board meeting, life inside the company changed in quiet ways. People no longer joked when Rafi walked by. They greeted him politely. Some even stepped aside as if he carried a higher title than the one on his badge. Rafi did not enjoy the attention. He continued his routine. He still cleaned the floors. He still kept his voice low. He still avoided crowds. Mira watched him and realized something important. Rafi did not need status to be strong. He had walked away from power once, and he could do it again. But the outside world did not forget easily. A news site published a short story about the CEO who married the janitor. Then another article hinted that the janitor was once connected to elite service. People began digging. Old photos appeared online, blurry and incomplete. Comment sections filled with wild guesses. Myra's company faced pressure again, not from rivals this time, but from attention. Investors called. Reporters waited outside the building. People wanted a story, not the truth. Mira kept meetings focused, but she felt the stress growing. Rafi noticed. At breakfast, he said, "You are carrying it again." Mira sighed. "They will not stop. They want drama." Rafi nodded. "Then give them nothing." He meant it. He did not want interviews. He did not want praise. He wanted peace. But peace was not coming yet. One evening, Mira stayed late to finalize an important partnership. The partner was a global company that could raise their business to a new level. The signing was scheduled for the next morning, and everything had to be perfect. The building felt tense. Security was doubled. Cameras were checked again. The head of security looked tired. "We are getting unusual signals," he told Mira. "Nothing clear, but I do not like it." Myra's stomach tightened. Could it be another attempt? "It is possible," he said. Rafi heard the conversation while cleaning nearby. He did not interrupt. He did not give orders. But his eyes sharpened. That night, Rafi did something he had avoided for years. He prepared. Not in a dramatic way. Not with loud moves. But with careful steps. He checked entry points. He tested doors. He noticed a small service stairwell that had a weak lock. He reported it. He reviewed the camera angles and saw a blind spot near an old storage room. He informed security quietly. "This area is open," he said. "Fix it." The head of security looked at him with a mix of respect and discomfort. We will. Mira stayed in her office, going over the final documents. She trusted her security team, but deep down, she trusted Rafi more. Near midnight, the building's emergency alarm system made a soft sound. Not a full alarm. Just a short alert used for internal testing. But it was not scheduled. Rafi froze. He knew the difference between routine and a signal. He moved quickly toward the executive floor, using the stairs instead of the elevator. His steps were quiet. His breathing stayed steady. On the hallway camera, a shadow moved near the storage room. Rafi did not rush blindly. He used a different corridor and approached from a safe angle. Two masked figures were inside the storage room, cutting through a panel. They were trying to access a maintenance tunnel that connected to the partner conference floor. They were skilled. They moved fast and with coordination. Rafi spoke from the doorway in a calm voice. Stop. They turned instantly. One raised a tool like a weapon. Rafi did not panic. He stepped back, creating distance, giving them space to choose. He did not want anyone hurt. Leave now, he said. And it ends. They hesitated, then one moved toward him. Rafi reacted with controlled speed. He deflected the strike, took the tool away, and held the person down without harming them. The second figure tried to escape through the tunnel, but Rafi moved like a wall. He blocked the exit and forced them to retreat. Security arrived within seconds, drawn by Rafi's silent alert on the internal system. The two intruders were detained. The head of security stared at Rafi. You predicted this. Rafi replied, I watched the pattern. Mira was brought to a secure room while authorities were contacted. She stood there, heart pounding, watching Rafi speak with calm clarity as if he had been doing this every day. When the situation was under control, Mira walked to him. You saved everything, she said quietly. Rafi shook his head. The team responded. I just moved first. Mira looked at him closely. You act like this is nothing. Rafi's eyes softened. It is not nothing. It is just familiar. The next morning, the partnership signing happened as planned. The partner team arrived, unaware of the night's incident. Myra's company looked stable and professional. But Mira could not stop thinking about what could have happened. After the signing, she asked Rafi to meet her in her office. Rafi stood near the window, hands behind his back, looking out at the city. Mira said, I know you wanted a quiet life. But your past keeps reaching you. Rafi nodded. It happens. Are you in danger? Mira asked. Rafi took a moment before answering. Not from what I did. But from people who want to use stories. Mira walked closer. Then we handle it together. Rafi looked at her. You married me without needing a reason. That matters more than anything. Myra's eyes filled slightly, but she stayed composed. I felt alone before you, she admitted. Now I feel like I have a real partner. Rafi nodded once. You do. The board called another meeting later that week. They wanted to promote Rafi officially into a security leadership role. They believed it would calm investors and improve public trust. Rafi listened calmly as they offered a title, benefits, and public recognition. When they finished, he said, No. The room went silent. Mira watched him carefully. She understood why. A board member frowned. Why refuse? Rafi replied, Because I did not come here to be admired. I came here to live quietly. Titles bring noise. But you could help more, the member insisted. Rafi looked around the room. I already helped. I will help again if needed. But I will not become a symbol. Mira spoke gently. They are afraid. Rafi looked at her. Then teach them to focus on truth, not fear. Mira realized that was his leadership. Not control but clarity. The board agreed to a compromise. Rafi would work as a consultant in private when needed. No press. No announcement. The public story slowly faded. Reporters moved on. Investors calmed after the partnership's success. The rival firm that once attacked stopped trying, because their hidden actions were exposed. Weeks passed. Mira and Rafi built a simple rhythm. Mira worked hard during the day. Rafi worked at night. They met in the quiet spaces between. Sometimes, they took evening walks. Sometimes, they cooked at home. Rafi taught Mira small habits that made life easier. How to breathe before a stressful conversation. How to notice people's real motivations. How to stay calm even when others try to push buttons. One evening Mira asked, "Do you miss your old life?" Rafi shook his head. "I miss some people. Not the life." "What made you leave?" she asked. Rafi took a slow breath. "Because I wanted to wake up without hearing my mind stay on alert. I wanted to choose my days." Mira nodded. "And you chose this?" "Yes," Rafi said. "I chose you." At the company, people began to respect Mira more, not less. They saw she did not lead from ego. They saw she made choices based on values, not status. Some employees even changed their attitude toward others in lower roles. They greeted cleaners. They thanked security guards. They learned that every job mattered. One afternoon, Mira walked into the lobby and saw a new young janitor struggling with a heavy cart. A group of managers walked past without noticing. Mira stopped and helped the young worker adjust the cart. The worker looked shocked. "Ma'am, you do not have to." Mira smiled. "Everyone deserves respect." Across the lobby, Rafi watched quietly. He did not step in. He did not need to. Mira had learned the lesson in her own way. Later at home, Mira said, "You changed the company more than any program I ever launched." Rafi replied, "You changed yourself. I only stood beside you." That night, Mira sat on the balcony, looking at the city lights. She thought about the first night she saw Rafi polishing the floor. She remembered the calm voice, the steady hands, the quiet strength. She had married a man everyone underestimated. Not because of secrets, but because of choices. Rafi came out with 2 cups of tea and handed one to her. Mira asked softly, "Are we finally safe?" Rafi sat beside her and looked at the sky. "As safe as life allows," he said. "But whatever comes, we face it together." Mira leaned back, feeling the weight lift from her chest. For the first time, she did not feel like she had to prove anything to the world. She had built a company. But she had also built a life. And that life was strong, quiet, and real. Life slowed after the storm passed, but calm did not mean silence. The company moved forward, stronger than before, yet the world around Mira and Rafi continued to test their balance. Mira noticed the change first inside herself. She was no longer rushing through halls with tension in her shoulders. She listened more. She paused before reacting. Employees felt it too. Meetings became calmer. Decisions became clearer. Rafi stayed the same. Every night, he cleaned the building as if nothing had changed. He still arrived early. He still left quietly. But people now watched him with different eyes. Some respected him. Some feared him. Rafi wanted neither. One evening, Mira returned home later than usual. She looked tired, not from work, but from something deeper. Rafi noticed immediately. "You are carrying something," he said while pouring water. Mira sat down slowly. "I was invited to speak at a leadership summit." "That sounds normal," Rafi said. "It is not," Mira replied. "They want to talk about us. About you." Rafi remained calm. "What did you say?" "I asked for time," she said. "I do not want to turn you into a story." Rafi nodded. "Thank you." Mira hesitated. But the company could benefit. Investors listened to stories. Rafi met her eyes. And stories can twist truth. Mira sighed. "I know. They sat in silence for a moment. "I will support your choice," Rafi said. "Whatever it is." That was his way. No pressure. No control. A few days later, something unexpected happened. A junior employee named Sammy collapsed in the lobby late at night. He had been working double shifts and ignored his health. Panic spread among the few people still in the building. Rafi was nearby. He acted instantly. He cleared space, spoke calmly to those around, and helped Sammy breathe steadily until help arrived. His voice cut through fear without raising volume. When medical staff took Sammy away, the head of human resources arrived, shaken. "Thank you," she said. "You handled that better than anyone." Rafi replied, "People need calm when they are scared." The incident spread quietly through the company. Not as a rumor, but as respect. The next morning, Sammy's family came to the building to thank Rafi personally. They brought simple food and kind words. Rafi accepted politely but kept the moment short. Mira watched from a distance. That evening, she told Rafi, "You lead even when you do not try." Rafi replied, "Leadership is not loud." At the same time, the rival firm that once caused trouble made another move. This time, it was subtle. They began approaching Myra's employees with offers, trying to pull them away. Mira noticed patterns. "They are testing loyalty," she said during a private conversation with Rafi. "They feel cornered," Rafi replied. "People act desperate when they lose control." "What should I do?" Mira asked. Rafi thought for a moment. "Strengthen trust, not rules." Mira followed his advice. She spoke openly to her team. She shared the company vision clearly. She did not threaten or beg. She trusted her people. Most stayed. Those who left did so quietly, without damage. The rival firm faded further into the background. One night, while Rafi cleaned the top floor, he noticed a familiar feeling. Not danger, but attention. Someone was watching. He paused near a window and saw a man across the street, standing too still. The man noticed Rafi looking and turned away. Rafi did not react. He reported the sighting calmly to security. They checked records. The man never returned. At home, Rafi did not mention it to Mira. He chose peace when possible. But the past has a way of knocking softly before it knocks loud. A letter arrived one afternoon at their home. No return address. Plain envelope. Mira opened it carefully. Inside was a short message. It said someone from Rafi's old unit wanted to meet. No threats. No demands. Just a request. Mira looked at Rafi with concern. "You do not have to go." Rafi read the letter slowly. "I know who this is," he said. "Is it safe?" she asked. "Yes," he replied. "But it opens doors I closed." Mira took his hand. "Then we decide together." They agreed Rafi would meet the person in a public place. Mira would know where he was. No secrets. The meeting happened at a small park during the afternoon. Families walked nearby. Children played. The man waiting on the bench stood when Rafi approached. He was older, with tired eyes. "Commander," the man said quietly. "Not anymore," Rafi replied. They sat. "We heard about you," the man said. "About where you ended up." Rafi nodded. "I chose it." "We need advice," the man said. "Nothing more." Rafi listened. They spoke about training methods, about leadership under pressure, about mistakes to avoid. No operations. No danger. After an hour, the man stood. "You changed lives back then. You still do." Rafi replied, "I changed my own life. That was enough." The man left. Rafi walked home feeling lighter. When he told Mira, she listened carefully. "I was afraid they would pull you back," she said. "They tried," Rafi replied. "They respected the answer." Mira smiled with relief. Time moved forward. Mira accepted the summit invitation, but on her terms. She spoke about leadership, respect, and unseen strength. She did not share Rafi's past. She did not need to. The audience listened closely. Some understood. Some did not. That was fine. Back at the company, something shifted permanently. The culture changed. Titles mattered less. Behavior mattered more. Rafi noticed cleaners being invited to staff events. Security guards were thanked publicly. Small changes added up. One evening, Mira asked Rafi, "Do you regret marrying into this world?" Rafi answered without hesitation. "No. Even with the noise," she asked. "Noise fades," he said. "Values stay." Mira leaned against him, feeling grounded. Years passed quietly. The company expanded steadily. Not fast, but strong. Rafi eventually reduced his night shifts, not because of pressure, but because his body asked for rest. He still worked, but less. One morning, Mira woke to find Rafi sitting on the balcony, watching the sunrise. "You are up early," she said. He smiled. "Old habit." She sat beside him. "I used to think strength meant standing alone," Mira said. "Now I know it can mean standing together." Rafi nodded. "That is the strongest position." They watched the city wake up. People hurried to work. Lights turned on. Life moved forward. They were no longer a story whispered in halls. They were simply two people who chose respect over image, calm over noise, and purpose over pride. And that choice continued to protect them, long after others stopped watching.